Hello and welcome to Taking You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I'm your host, JP John Paz from the two-man power trip. Of course, joining me, the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, one of the greatest trainers ever in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom Prichard. Dr. Tom, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great today, John. It's a nice spring day here in Tennessee, and everything is great.
What is going on in the world of the JPWA?
We're on our 6th week of this class, and we did a great promo class tonight, and things are going swimmingly.
With the promo class, do they wrestle at all, or is it just promos? You're just doing promos the
No,
whole
on
way.
Wednesday we do promos. We give them a midweek break.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Dusty Road style promos? Everybody's kind of gathering around you and you throw out ideas,
Yeah,
and they got
exactly
to
what it is.
they basically have to just ad lib on the fly.
Well, yeah. How else would you do it?
Well, they're not like preparing what they're going to say, right? They don't know what the
Oh no,
topics
no,
are.
no, no! I'll give them a word, or I'll give them a topic, I'll give them a subject, and they'll do it. Or
I
we'll
like it.
talk about it. And that's the way we do it.
I like it. Brendan, good evening, gentlemen. Hello, Brendan.
Brendan,
Hello to Jason. Hello, Dr. Tom and Mr. John. Hello, Brendan. Excuse me. Hello, Jason. Ibsen. Hello, Ibsen. Hi, guys.
Ibsen.
Now, we were talking a little bit off air. We are talking about Monday Night Raw, which happened a few nights ago. Was on or in Madison Square Garden on Netflix. Huge cage match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins was the main event. Rollins ends up winning by escaping the cage thanks to Roman Reigns. Unbeknownst to him, he kind of helped him without really helping him because he just took him out of the cage so he can beat the living hell out of him. What did you think of the steel cage match between Punk and Rollins on Monday Night Raw?
Well, I saw a limited part of it, but uh, the excitement in Madison Square Garden was pretty evident. So it had a big match feel to it, and I like that Roman Reigns did come out of the crowd and make his presence known.
Pretty crazy if you read the people's reviews online. Either they say it was the greatest steel cage match of all time, or it sucked. There was no middle ground. It was weird between the fans
Well,
on.
the people who say it's the greatest of all time haven't seen that many cage matches anyway. So it's their era that they're falling in love with, and I understand that. Um, I mean, if we're going to count cage matches, you have to count Hell in a Cell with Taker and Mick Foley, Mankind, as probably one of the greatest cage matches. But there's been a lot of great cage matches. What about Snuka in Morocco? For people who remember that far back.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, people online have their opinions, and that's great, but doesn't always make it right.
Zippo, hello guys from a hospital bed. Whoa, hope Zippo's
Zippo,
okay.
I hope everything's all right. But obviously, from a hospital bed, that's not good.
Yeah, hope so. Geez, the modern day cowboy himself, Mitch Miller. What's up, gentlemen? Hello,
Mitch.
hello, Mitch. Barbara, hello. So good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good week. Sorry I'm late.
Well, we'll let it go this time, Barbara.
Yep. Let's slide. ATF Media. Do you think the best way to keep the stock market from plummeting even further than it has is to have the hands of stone, Ronnie Garvin, punch it upward? Yeah, stock market not doing too good.
I believe the president has got in touch with Garvin, and that's in the works.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Brendan, going back to the steel cage match, I will say the cage match between Seth and Punk was by far one of the best cage matches I've seen in a long time.
And I'm sure it was. I mean, both guys are hot right now, and wrestling is hot right now, and uh, everybody's performing at a high level. So maybe it was.
Pretty crazy that AEW lets Punk go. And I know he was injured for a bit, but man, he's been on fire. He had that great Hell in a Cell match with Drew. He had that great match on Netflix with Rollins before a few weeks ago. He had that great match with Sami Zayn. His promos have been off the charts, calling Rock and Cena bald frauds. I mean, he's been on fire CM Punk. You got to hand it to Punker. And then the cage match on Monday was awesome. So you got to give it to Punk.
Well, Punk has always been a talented guy, so yeah, it's not surprising that he can pull out big matches like this.
Got to agree with Brendan on this one. It is the best cage match I've seen in a while. Not counting, obviously, Punk versus McIntyre, Hell in a Cell, but definitely very, very, very good cage match. Although I liked Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa from a few months ago. I thought that was a pretty good cage match, too.
Yeah.
Dwayne Anglo, Austin 316. Thoughts on the natural disasters being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? I realized that the Earthquake's wife was Filipino.
Does that have something to do with them being inducted in the Hall of Fame?
No, just Dwayne's from the Philippines. That's why he's saying that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Hometown. Yeah, hometown there.
Very cool. Well, I think it's great they're being inducted. I like the natural disasters.
Weird though. I don't know if they announced it online or what, but they hadn't announced it on TV. They announced Lex Luger on TV, so I don't know if they like wait a week or whatever. But Fred Ottman, I saw on Facebook, he said that they're in. They're going to be inducted or whatever. So
And I saw Fred last year in November in Dyersburg, Tennessee, of all places, and we sat there and talked for a long time. So I'm glad for him.
Crazy thing is, to me, when I was thinking about it, I was like, wait a second, those two aren't in yet? You know what I mean? Like, what took so long? Another thing baffles, like, Earthquake's not in? How is that possible? Yeah, weird.
There's a thing like Luger not being in yet. How is that possible?
Yeah, even worse, yeah. That's crazy. Yep.
Yeah, there's a few guys I can think of. You'll ask me who they are, and I can't bring in my forefront right now. But there's a few guys out there that belong in that aren't in yet.
Love that the natural disasters are in though. If this class is pretty good. Natural disasters and Luger, that's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
Ibsen, what's your favorite WWF cage match of all time?
I don't know if I have a favorite WWF cage match. Most of my cage matches I witnessed were in Texas or Alabama.
Ibsen's going to bring up a couple that I literally was thinking of. Just as he said, I was just about to say, just as he's putting it, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, SummerSlam 1994, definitely. Warrior versus Rude, SummerSlam 90, love that one. Big Boss Man versus Hulk Hogan, MSG 1989, yes. And crazy, some of the bumps Hogan takes very near, like close to the top of the cage of taking a suplex off, like crazy bumps from Hogan and Boss Man. Like, you'd be kind of shocked that they would ever take those bumps, but man, Hogan must have trusted Boss Man on some of those. Just awesome.
I think so.
Awesome match. And Bret Owen it's one of those cage matches that's different than a lot of the other ones.
Which that wasn't in Madison Square Garden, was it?
No.
Where was that at?
I forget where SummerSlam 94 was. Let me check. But that steel cage match is different because it's interesting. Like, they're really trying to almost like escape the cage rather than just kill each other. It's a lot of good psychology. Chicago, Illinois, at the United Center, August 29th, 1994. 23,000 in attendance for that one. So pretty good. Brett's the champ. Pretty good draw there. 23,000 in Chicago.
Cool.
Sounds like a Bulls game. You know what I mean? With Jordan, dominating the ranks there. I know he wasn't there in '94, but dominating the ranks for sure. Love that cage match. Love Hogan Boss Man. They actually had another one too, which is awesome. Just, I don't know. Those are great. Let's see what Barbara has to say. Foley had a cage match with Triple H. That was a good one, but not as good as one with Undertaker. Yes. No Way Out 2000 versus Triple H. Career ender, supposedly.
Wow. Yeah, possible. But I like the one with Undertaker better too.
Undertaker Foley?
Yeah.
That one is crazy. Craig Seaback. I prefer the old chain link cages as opposed to the metal bar style. Which do you prefer, Tom?
I prefer the chain link cages as well. They just look a little more sinister.
Yeah, like they could really do some damage if you're being thrown into them.
Yeah.
I'm sure legit the blue cage could do some damage, but I think they did that, or they admitted they did that because it looks better on TV. You could see through the cage better with
Right.
the bigger bars.
Well, I don't know if it had anything to do with how it climbed either, but it was a lot easier to climb than that other
Right.
cage.
Definitely. Yeah, the other cage is really hard to climb.
Yeah.
Love the blue cage, but I think the other cage is better. I do prefer the link, if you
Chain
will.
link. Yeah.
Chain link. Yep. Fish Stick says the blue cage, brother.
Ooh.
Dell Mountain, hello. I just watched a funny video of Hulk Hogan stopping a purse snatcher on the Santa Monica Pier with wrestling moves that were obviously not hurting the guy. Very entertaining. Wow, I have not seen that. I got to find that on the web, if you will. I got to look that up.
I haven't heard about that either. I haven't seen that either. No.
If you watch some old WCW, and it's funny, like if a guy sneaks in the ring or whatever, I've noticed Hogan doesn't really like lay the boots to the guy, or like it's funny. He almost like kind of does like a working putt, like he's not like trying to kill the guy. And then you watch Macho Man to the same guy, like try to rip the guy's like throat out, like he just obliterates the guy.
Hogan
It's
doesn't want to
funny. I
get
don't know.
sued. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like Hogan kicked the guy's ass, and he's kind of like, I won't. But then Randy Anderson, the ref, comes over and beats that. You know what I mean? Like each guy is different how they handle these fans.
There was a guy named Steve Regal, not the Steve Regal, Steven.
Mr. Electricity.
No, there was another guy, Steve Regal, in Louisiana for a little while, and he was riding with me and Randy Anderson, referee Pee Wee, and we were behind this car, and this guy was driving like an idiot. So we got off the exit with him, and I had a moonroof, and so we were yelling at the guy and shooting the bird and all this other stuff. So he threw a beer from the back of his car, and it landed right in the moonroof, right in my moonroof, in between me and Regal.
Whoa!
So Regal says, "Get him." So we pulled over. He pulled over at the same time. We got out. Randy Anderson got in front of both of us and went over and grabbed the guy and slapped him, just like that, without saying a word.
That's awesome! Wow!
Yeah,
Look at Randy.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. He was a bad little son of a gun.
Yeah, he's not to be messed with, huh? Pee Wee Anderson.
Yeah. Well, he'd fight you.
Yeah.
You definitely have to fight him.
What was your favorite steel cage match in Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
Oh my God. We had a cage match somewhere for Loser League Town, and Rock and Roll beat us. That was a good cage match, but I can't remember where it was.
There was
somewhere in
a couple good
Kentucky.
cage matches. There was a couple good cage matches. I remember like almost like a war game style match.
Yeah, there was that, but I don't know. We had good cage matches with Rock and Roll.
They also used a different type of cage, right? Usually in Smoky Mountain.
Yes. It was one of those almost like chicken wire, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
What was the thought
cage.
process? Yeah. What was the thought process behind that?
I wasn't on that committee, John.
Oh,
I didn't know. I wasn't booking that one.
Damn it! You should have been.
I should have been a lot of things. Yes.
You should have been like saying, "Hey, what's going on with this? Why are we using this this strange setup for a cage?"
Well, you have to understand, Kentucky and Tennessee are, kind of off to themselves in their beliefs and things like that. So they didn't see it as strange, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Does War Games count as cage match, or is that separate because there's
Sure. No, I think that would be a cage match. Yeah.
Been some damn good War Games too through the years. Been a ton of good War Games. 91, 92, 87 is a great one. Crazy. Magazine Retriever says, "Good evening. Brian Knobs is dealing with life-threatening infection. He may soon need have his foot amputated."
Is that right?
they're actually doing a benefit for him coming up. It's hosted by Buff Bagwell, and I think Luger's on it, and Sting, and a bunch of guys to try to get, and Booker T, and get like some money together for him. And I know there's a GoFundMe out there. I think you just type in
Wow.
Brian Knobbs and GoFundMe. Yeah, so I guess he's really not doing good health wise. I saw he was back in the hospital as of today. So prayers out to Brian Knobbs.
Yeah, no kidding. Just when everybody thinks they got it bad.
Not good. Not good at all. Barbara says, so happy to see Lex Luger get into the Hall of Fame. Fingers crossed, Dr. Tom is next.
Thanks, Barbara. We'll keep our fingers crossed. I'll keep mine crossed too.
What is Cornette's input on cage matches in general? Does he love it? Does he think they're like a blow off to a feud? What does he think about the cage?
No, I think Jimmy liked the cage matches if they meant something. He's never voiced his opinion about cage matches in general, but I don't think he's adverse to cage matches at all. As long as it means something, there's a reason for it.
I feel like cage matches used to be always like the blow off to a major feud. Kind of changed a bit over the years, but it just seemed like that is definitely something that used to be commonplace.
Well, yeah, but I can understand in this day and age where it's just a feature event. You know, it's like, what are you going to watch on TV tonight? Oh man, WWE has a cage match on. So, I can understand that because they make it spectacular. And if you were in the Garden, you know how spectacular it was.
Yep.
I mean, they make it, with the lights, camera, action, and sizzle, and it's a bonus if you have guys who know how to work and tell a story.
I saw a complaint with as far as Punk and Rollins that too many false finishes. That was the complaint that people had. I was like, oh, I don't know. Like being there live, we were into every false finish. Like we really thought it was over here, thought it was over there. So if you were there live, and I know me and my son were there live, we were absolutely into every false finish they had. We were fully invested.
I did see Punk. I think gave him how many? 3 go to sleeps.
Yes.
4.
Yep.
3, something like that. Yep. And then Rollins did something, and they kept kicking out. And I thought, well, wow, what is the finish for this going to be? It has to be a run in there because they keep kicking out all their finishes, and I thought it was great.
I know, I did too. I loved it. It's funny though, like if you go online, like, oh, nobody can complain about this one, and then invariably there will be people that complain. So you
can't please everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Can't please them all. That's for sure. Let's see who's next here. Frankie Williams from Zippo. Frankie Williams needs an induction to the WWE Hall of Fame. Do you agree with that?
Sure, why not?
That would be pretty crazy. By the way, looking it up here, Smoky Mountain Wrestling Volunteer Slam 2 Rage in a Cage. Got 5 stars from Dave Meltzer, May 9th, 1993. Brian Lee, Jimmy Golden, Ricky Morton, Robert Fuller, and Robert Gibson versus Kevin Sullivan, Killer Kyle, Stan Lane, the Tasmaniac, and Dr. Tom Prichard. Do you remember this match, Dr. Tom?
Where was this at?
Rage in a Cage.
Yeah, where was it?
Let's find out where it was. It was at the Civic Coliseum in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay, I do remember that one. I remember like it was yesterday.
Really? Wow. Nice. Rage in a Cage 5-on-5 War Games style. 5 stars from Dave Meltzer.
How about that?
That now, Barbara's definitely right. Now you're definitely getting in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Now that we know that. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 stars.
Brendan, so Luger wants Sting and DDP to induct him into the WWE Hall of Fame. Not sure if Sting is still under contract. Do you think AEW would allow this to happen?
Oh, my God, yes. I certainly think they would allow that to happen.
Do they need some compensation going on for that?
I don't know, but, I mean, why would they not allow that to happen? It's for Luger, and Tony Khan respects the business so much, and all that stuff, and the old timers. So why wouldn't he want to let Sting and DDP? Or DDP is not under contract to him, is he?
No, nope. It would make sense, obviously, Sting, Luger's best buddy. That would make a whole lot of sense. And
Yeah,
DDP's been helping him out so much, and obviously they're buddies, but DDP's really been like an angel for Luger, helping him start to walk again.
yeah. I mean, he's definitely going to be involved. Got to be.
Scorch. When Tugboat turned heel and became Typhoon, felt like he betrayed Hulk Hogan. I was angry because I was too young to understand kayfabe.
Well, he did betray Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
It's okay to be angry.
Yep. Then he did turn heel. Not cool. Not good.
Yeah.
Do you believe the Bruce Pritchard, believe it or not, the Bruce Pritchard story that Tugboat, as an Iraqi sympathizer, was thought about as going to be a main event of WrestleMania 7 instead of Slaughter? It's going to be Hogan versus Typhoon, who is going to be an Iraqi sympathizer. Are you buying that story? Because I don't think I am.
Well, I haven't heard it before, so I don't know what it is.
Basically, instead of Slaughter, Typhoon was going to be the heel Iraqi sympathizer, and he was going to feud with Hogan, and they were going to
Well, how
tie
would
it
that
into
make sense?
I legit have no clue, and I was trying to figure out that story. I don't know. I feel like maybe Bruce was fabing a little bit there. You know what I mean? Just throwing something out there because it sounded funny, but
I
I
ain't got a
wasn't.
clue.
Yeah, that just doesn't sound right. Hogan Slaughter, come on, that was you know
Yeah,
that was genius. That was great.
sure.
Phil, great to see you, John and Doc.
Phil, great to see you too. Let's see, would you rather hang out with Johnny Cash, Johnny Paycheck, or Eddie Money?
From ATF,
Ooh,
yeah. Johnny
yeah.
Cash, Johnny Paycheck, Ready Money. Wow.
I think Johnny Cash.
Yeah, gotta go Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Definitely. From Maddie R. Is Dr. Tom a big fan of the blue cage or the traditional cage? Maddie R.
Traditional cage.
Modern day cowboy. Who could forget Orndorff's feet hitting first? Orndorff versus Hulk Hogan, Saturday night's main event is very controversial. It looked like Orndorff possibly his feet landed first. They said Hogan's did, so Hogan wins the match. Do you remember this?
I don't remember that.
Wow. Man,
I'm sorry,
Hogan.
I was working at night.
Oh, true. Good point. Hogan Orndorff, huge ratings, just gigantic ratings, and that kind of set the pace for Hogan and Andre to have the biggest rating ever at 33 million for main event. But right before that, Hogan and Orndorff,
33 million
yeah, watched Hogan versus Andre in 1988.
at WrestleMania?
No, on the main event on
Oh, on the main event. I'm
NBC.
sorry.
Yeah,
That's
yep,
good. Yeah.
on
Wow.
NBC. Crazy.
When's the last time they got that kind of number?
Oh
Then?
God. Yeah, then. Yeah, they never
Yeah.
duplicated that. Yeah, I think the highest they ever got again with maybe Attitude Era was 11 million, I believe, something like that, 10 or 11
Wow.
million.
Wow.
So
That's
nothing's
incredible.
coming close to touching Hogan Andre. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
But Hogan Orndorff right before that, they did like 15 million, and then they had a rematch. They did like 20 million. So like they were killing it with the ratings too. So Hogan Orndorff was a huge draw, and obviously for the big event when they had that show in Canada in '86, they drew almost 70,000 there. So I mean, it's just a
So I mean, if you look
awesome.
at it, that was Hulk Hogan and Paul Orndorff, and they looked the part. They were the part. They were those guys. That was authentic. Same thing with Andre and Hogan. They were authentic.
They kept Orndorff pretty strong after the feud because they almost looked like Orndorff possibly had his feet land first where he could have won. It was escape the cage, and it looked like they kept him pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, Orndorff was the man.
Yeah, he really was. Barbara says, wasn't there a cage match where Mark Henry couldn't get the lock off?
I don't know. Was there?
Yes, I remember for some reason as a shoot, they had him like ripping the lock, and it was becoming a bit of an issue. And I remember they didn't gimmick it for some reason. I think they just figured he could just do it on his own. And I
Right.
forget what match it was, but it was a little bit of a screw up there, for sure.
Well, I don't know.
Fish Sticks says, sorry if I missed it, but what do you think of the Hall of Fame inductees?
Well, I like the Hall of Fame inductees. I think it's great. I think everybody going in this year deserves it. From Triple H, Michelle McCool, Typhoon, and Earthquake. Who else is going in?
Luger so far.
Luger. That's it. Yeah, I like it.
Zippo, chicken wire cages looked the nastiest.
Well, that's probably why we had it like that in Kentucky and Tennessee.
Jason, at old WWF house shows, if someone didn't show up, how was it handled? Was there reserve wrestlers for occasions, or did the agent think of something else to do to fill the time?
Most of the time, you'd have somebody work twice. So that's how that was handled.
Good idea. Ibsen says, I never got the idea of having a ref inside a cage to make a pinfall. It should be two guys battling it out without anyone in the way. What do you think about having a referee in there?
Well, if it it used to be you had to climb out of the cage to win it, but if you need it, if you can win by pinfall, then you have to have a referee in there to make the pin. So it's a necessary evil if you're going to do it like that. But if you just have two guys in there, then they have to escape the cage. Then that you don't need a referee in there to count.
True. Frank Nordquist, hello. Do you remember the epic War Games steel cage match where Sid Vicious dropped Brian Pillman on his head? It's a miracle that Pillman wasn't injured that badly. What did you think about Wrestle War 91?
So you got to remember, I'm on the road and I don't get a chance to watch the other guys' pay-per-views and stuff like that. So I don't remember War Games steel cage where Sid Vicious dropped Brian Pillman on his head. I really don't, man. I'm sorry. What year was that?
1991.
91, I was in Memphis. So we
Great
were working
match.
Saturday and Friday nights.
Pretty awesome War Games. I believe also got 5 stars from Dave Meltzer as well. So your match is definitely, it's in good company. Flair, Sid Vicious, Barry Windham, and injury replacement for Arn was Larry Zbyszko versus Sting, Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner, and a flying Brian Pillman. Basically, Sid powerbombs him, but the cage, that has the roof on the cage, it was almost like he couldn't get him all the way up, so he just was like, boom, and he just dropped him right on his neck. It was very vicious, to use the pun there. Sid was very vicious with him, but man, he destroyed him with the powerbomb. It was pretty bad. It looked like pretty bad injury for Pillman, but it wasn't, thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully.
That's got to be up there, one of the greatest steel cage matches as well. Love that match. Wrestle War 91 and Wrestle War 92. It's awesome when Dangerous Alliance fights Sting Squadron in 92. That's an awesome match too. What about this booking idea for you? Tammy versus a pit bull in an electrified cage. What do you think?
I don't want to be cruel with Pit Bull.
Dell Mountain. It would be great to see Lex Luger's kids reconciled with him at the WWE Hall of Fame. It would mean a lot to Lex. Life is too short to hold a grudge.
Yeah, life's too short to hold a grudge, but sometimes you do.
That would be really nice if his kids were there for that. That would be a
Sure,
real
it'd be
special
great.
moment.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Not sure if you saw NXT Roadblock or not, Dr. Tom. It looks like Taker is passing the torch to Obafemi. What are your thoughts on Obafemi?
I think he's a pretty decent big guy if he sticks to big guy moves. Didn't he work with Brock like a year ago or 2 years ago? However long the last time Brock was in?
No, this is Obafemi from NXT. You're thinking of Omos.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I am.
This is the NXT World Champion Obafemi, who Undertaker kind of was like
the NXT World Champion. Wait, the NXT has a world champion now?
Yep. I believe they have fought in other countries. I believe, if I'm remember, because I know that sometimes they do travel with the crew, like the regular crew, when they're going overseas and stuff.
Well, how is Taker passing the torch?
Well, he basically was backstage, and he's like, you're the next big thing, kind of.
Okay.
of thing. Remember when he did that with Cena like 20 something years ago? He saw him backstage. He's like, "Great job, kid." It's kind of like the same.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of cool. I don't know who Obafemi is, I guess. Um,
He beat Moose at the theater at Madison Square Garden last night on NXT.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Good for
and the
him.
Har- and the Hardy Boys were on that show as well, by the way, and they beat Nathan Frazier and Axiom. So the Hardy Boys getting a nice little WWE rub again.
Good for them.
The only thing I noticed with Obafemi that I didn't like, and you could tell me if I'm crazy here, I feel like he sold too much sometimes. Like for a big guy, he like almost looking too vulnerable.
Yeah. And I think that's up to somebody to tell him that and instill that in him and to really help him get over that.
Because he's big and he's just a monster. He just looks like if you saw him, you'd be like, "Oh my god, this guy is like a beast." Like I'm gonna walk on the other side of the road. Or I'm just gonna like almost like a Lesnar type. Where it's like, man, this guy's scary.
Yeah. Well, then that's what you need.
Look at this. How about Jerry Oates for WWE Hall of Fame? What do you think about Jerry Oates getting in?
I like Jerry Oates. I know Jerry Oates for a long time.
Would you put him in
So
WWE Hall of Fame?
that I don't know. Is Jerry Russell outside of Georgia?
Not really. Um, Mitch said, "What about Barry Horowitz? He should be in the Hall of Fame. He put so many guys over."
I agree. I think Barry should be in the Hall of Fame.
Also, hell of a hand,
Yep.
Barry. In Stampede, cage matches were usually booked because heels kept interfering in matches. It was a way to keep them out of the ring.
Yeah, it was a way to, nobody gets in, nobody gets out type deal. And in the old days, there used to be a lot of juice and blood and guts, and it was just violent and bloody and exciting and great.
You know what's a great cage match we haven't brought up? Magnum
So
versus Tully, the steel cage I Quit match from
I quit
Starrcade
match.
85.
Yeah, that was a good match. We
That's got to
watched
be up
that for
there.
match study.
Really?
Yes, we have.
What did you have to say about it?
One of these guys to watch how they told the story and watch the drama build.
And a true blood feud with obviously a lot of blood involved, besides them just hating each other. Great feud.
Yeah.
Is there footage of any of your cage matches anywhere?
You know what? Yeah, there is a footage of Jeff Jarrett and me in a cage from Dallas.
Ooh, is it on
Yeah.
YouTube?
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna have to find that. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know if there's any other cage matches out there on YouTube or not.
What was the cage match where Kurt Angle did the moonsault off the top of the cage? Looked dangerous.
I don't know what cage match was that.
Versus Ken Anderson in TNA. Ken Anderson. I remember that. Crazy. He almost was like, I don't know if you ever saw it, but Angle goes to the top of the cage, and it's almost like he doesn't even look back to see where Anderson is. He's just like, screw it, I'm jumping. Like a wild man. And he's got an awesome moonsault where he's very athletic with it, but it's like, whoa, if Anderson's not paying attention, Angle's going to get severely hurt.
Yeah. That's why they call it high risk.
Yes. Brandon said, Barbara, I think that was against, he says Anderson in TNA, but he also did it against Chris Benoit in WWE.
Ah, okay.
Do you agree with Kurt Angle saying that he doesn't like how they, for a while, erased Benoit matches because Angle had so many good ones against him? They were basically erasing Angle's matches as well. Like, I agree with him. Do you agree with Kurt on that?
Well, I can understand why Kurt would feel that way. I don't know, and I can understand why WWE would feel that putting his matches out there like that is celebrating Benoit. Even though Benoit was a great worker, I don't think it's a good idea to to celebrate Chris Benoit
Right.
or to even it's a hard thing to talk about because he was such a great worker, um, and he had such great matches. But then at the end of the day, that all gets erased just by how he left the world. To me,
I feel you. I'm with you on that. ATF, great question. Would you rather see Bad Company, the Average White Band, or Great White in a concert?
Bad Company.
I can't deny. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Look at this. Camel Toe. Camel Toe. Look at that. Does Dr. Tom remember the Villa Rica Armory? My first autograph was the Oates Brothers.
Villa Rica. No, I don't remember the Armory in Villa Rica.
Oates, the Oates Brothers, though. Look at that.
Ted and Jerry Oates. Yep, they
Yes.
were great.
Scorch said, I remember when a heel manager would get the key or the padlock on the steel cage door and they would unlock it so a heel wrestler could exit and win by cheating.
Yeah, sometimes that would happen. That would happen a lot. Somebody come down the ringside, now the referee on the outside, get the key, and cheat to win. That's for sure.
Did Jimmy Del Rey ever participate in a cage match, as far as you know?
Yes, he did. He was in a few cage matches with me.
Ibsen says Brett shoving Vince McMahon in 1997 after the cage match on Raw was the start of the Attitude Era.
Are you sure that was the start?
A lot of people do point to that because that's kind of when it started getting like really like Brett's cursing and revealing that Vince is kind of like the boss and he could have done something about it and he's letting all these guys do whatever they want. This is
Well,
bullshit.
I thought it came when Vince screwed Brett. What was that? Was that around that time?
A little bit after that, but yeah, yep.
Yeah.
A few
Well,
months
yeah.
later. But yeah, that was crazy because he would, basically kind of berate and curse Vince. And then Sid came out and he goes, and you know it too, Sid. And Sid goes, I don't know shit, crybaby. And then, they're like cursing a lot back and forth. So they were definitely changing a bit in that era of 1997. They were getting a little bit of attitude for sure.
Well, it sure helped.
Who's one guy you never saw in a cage match that you wanted to see in a cage match?
God, I couldn't even think. No idea.
Frank says, I agree with Del Mountain. Lex Luger has more than paid for any past transgressions. He's been in a wheelchair for almost 18 years. His kids should bury the hatchet and reach out to him.
Well, everybody has their opinion on stuff, but when it comes to family, sometimes it's a lot deeper.
Yeah, it might not just be black and white in this
Yeah.
scenario. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Tommy Rich from Camel Toe? Great name.
Oh,
Original.
I would definitely put Tommy in the Hall of Fame. You got to. Tommy was one of the top stars in TBS's early days.
Gotta be in. Definitely gotta be in. Jason said, when did the idea of 2 and 3-story cage matches come about? I saw something from World Class where they were once doing something called the Triple Tower of Terror or something. But do you remember anything before, as far as when they started doing the tiers on the cages?
No, I thought that was a WCW thing.
I believe World Class did it first, as far as I remember, and then WCW kind of stole the idea, and then they did the triple cage. I remember, and then years later, WCW brought it back because I think it's in Ready to Rumble, the movie. So they brought it back again. They started using it. So yeah, that I don't know. And then obviously, in Uncensored '96 too, Hogan and Savage had to go through like 3 levels of cages. Terrible match, but they still, I
Yeah.
mean, they had to go through all levels of the cages. Weird to see something like that. I don't know. It's almost like a gimmick match on top of a gimmick match on top of it's almost too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've ever. No, I haven't. I haven't sat down and watched like a Triple Tower of Doom or anything like that. Triple Tower of Terror. I haven't. So I don't know. I don't know when that idea came about.
Craig Seebeck, a great cage match. No one knows about Dynamite Kid and Davy Boy against the Viet Cong Express, a four-way tornado cage match bloodfest. Interesting.
Hmm.
I can honestly say he says nobody knows about it. I didn't know about it either. Interesting. Dynamite and Davy in a nice cage match.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting.
Have you ever seen that?
Let me think. No, no, I haven't.
Fair enough. Barbara says, let's go back to 1997. Brett was supposed to be the good guy, and Steve Austin was supposed to be the heel, but the fans ended up reversing it. What do you think about that?
I thought that was great, and they both went with it. I mean, Austin was hot, and he was one of those hot, cool heels. No matter what he did, people were once Austin 316 happened. uh, that was there was nowhere else for them to go.
Pretty crazy that they took a while. Like Austin's basically getting hot in 96, and they really don't give him the ball officially till basically 1998. So it's like weird. Like they really slow played it with Austin. I know there were some injuries involved too in 97, but they definitely slow played it as far as his push.
Well, yeah, but it all worked out. I mean, they
Big
played it
time.
the way they felt they should play it and let Steve get over.
Yep, definitely. And the Bret feud, that was awesome. I feel like that really helped skyrocket him, Bret Hart, and
Yeah,
helped skyrocket Austin.
I agree.
Bruce was once in a blue cage. Warrior beat up Randy, and the Warrior punched Bruce after the match. It's on a Coliseum home video. What are your thoughts on that? That Bruce is in the blue cage getting beat up.
I don't know what to think of it. I think it's great. What,
He deserved it.
sure, he did.
You deserve it. Barbara saying the cage match with Luger and Bruiser Brody, where apparently Luger didn't sell, or really, I guess maybe Brody didn't sell, and Luger didn't sell what Brody wanted him to, but he jumped out of the cage. What did you think about that?
Well, I think Luger did the right thing if he wasn't sure because you never knew about Brody, and but only those guys know what was going on for sure, for real. I've heard Luger say that nothing really was going on, or he said everything was great after the match. So I mean, who knows? The only one who really knew what was going on with the guys in the ring. So who knows?
That is so, like, when you watch it back, it's so weird. It's like, what the hell's going on here? Like, you could tell there wasn't level of cooperation going on there between Luger and him. And Luger was like, okay, I'm getting the hell out of here for this guy kills me.
Yeah. Well, that's smart on his part.
Ibsen says Bundy, King Kong Bundy was his neighbor here in South Jersey. He got $500,000 for his match versus Hogan, and Hogan got $1 million. The cage match, 1986 WrestleMania 2. That's a pretty good match as well.
Yeah, pretty good payoff.
You believe that? Hogan's getting the double the money,
Sure.
deservingly so.
Yeah.
Hey, Hogan put Bundy in that spot too. Bundy never forgot it. I was buddies with Bundy. He said he loved Hulk because he
Yeah.
literally, he made him how much money. He put him in the main event of WrestleMania. He basically got him over because he, busted up Hogan's ribs. I mean, Hogan did a lot for Bundy.
Yeah.
Del Mountain, Two Gold Scorpio said that Sting had a problem with him wearing scorpions on his tights. Two Gold Scorpio told Sting, "That's too bad. I had the scorpion gimmick before you did."
Well, maybe he did.
I remember hearing that before from Scorp, but he technically did Two Gold Scorpio, but I could see Sting also having a problem with that. It's, that's he's
Yeah.
doing a Scorpion, he's Sting. That's kind of his gimmick, so I could see that. But
Right.
Scorpio, as far as what I've heard, it wasn't somebody to mess with. You know what I mean? Don't get on Scorpio's bad side. It's pretty tough, is
Right.
what I've heard.
Right.
Ibsen says the WWF made the Steve Austin Vince steel cage match at St. Valentine's Day Massacre all black and not blue on the pay per view in 1999. Interesting. They had changed the color of the cage by this
Mm,
point. He said that also, which if anybody's ever seen St. Valentine's Day Massacre from February of '99, that's where the Big Show makes his WWF debut.
yeah.
Pretty cool debut. He ends up throwing Austin through the cage, and Austin ends up winning by pure luck. But he's just too big and strong, and he just was beating up Austin, but threw him a little too hard, and he went through the cage. Pretty good finish. Very, very smart.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Modern day Cowboy Mitch Miller. Umaga versus Bobby Lashley is a good match I could think of from SmackDown in the late 2000s. What do you think about Lashley and Umaga?
But then they also work at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I thought they had a good match whenever they got in the ring.
Did you ever keep brass knucks with you when you were in a steel cage match?
I plead the fifth and that I'm going to incriminate myself or something like that.
True. Craig says 1 year after Bundy and Hogan had their steel cage match main event WrestleMania 2, he was in the opening match gimmick match with the midgets WrestleMania 3.
Yeah.
It's the way it goes sometimes. You're at the top, and then obviously you can't feud and main event with Hogan for so long, so that they have you work in other programs. Still entertaining as hell. He loved beating up those midgets too, so I mean that was fun for him. So he did enjoy that. But Hogan moved on to Andre, so I mean he was kind of moving on to bigger stars, if you will.
It happens.
Matthew Rodriguez, Dr. Tom, what are your thoughts on the brutal match between Mariah May and Toni Storm at AEW Revolution 2025? Jesus Christ, these girls bled like stuffed pigs. You need to watch that match, Dr. Tom, if you haven't seen it. It's from Matty Rodriguez.
I have not seen that match. They were
What do you
bleeding
think
like
of it?
stuffed pigs or stuck
Isn't it
pigs.
isn't it stuck pig?
Yeah,
Isn't it?
stuck
The
pigs.
expression?
That's
Yeah,
what.
stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So were they bleeding pretty good?
Yeah. It to me, to be honest, it is weird seeing like a woman bleeding like that. I don't know. It's a little, I don't know, a little
Like
weird for me. I'm
cringy?
not. Yeah, definitely cringe. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either.
It's weird. Like they're supposed to be, I don't know, not bleeding and punching each other in the face and getting, and using all these crazy
Well, I don't know
glass.
where you live, but where I live, that's just another Tuesday night.
True. True.
Yeah,
All right. True. Down in Knoxville. True. It's a little different. I don't
a
know
little
though.
bit.
They're both bleeding in that match. I was like, oh, that might be a little much.
Yeah.
And I saw Bully Ray said that actually took away from Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher bleeding in their steel cage match, which was supposed to be. I didn't
Oh,
see it was
another
supposed
guy,
to
and
be
the
pretty good.
guy's got juice too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that might be a little much.
With Triple H making Retro Raw a thing for the future, do you see the blue cage match coming back?
I do not. I think he likes the old school cage too. I think.
Here's a great point by Mitch about Toni Storm and Mariah May. They usually bleed like that once a month. Oh.
On their head?
No, he's talking about something else. You know what I mean?
No, I'm completely clueless.
He's talking about the women. He said they bleed once a month.
And I said from the head, and you said no.
Speaking of that, Camel Toe says, I remember seeing you wrestle Johnny Rich at the Omni, early 80s. Wow, do you remember this?
I wrestled Johnny Rich at the Omni.
Is Johnny Rich still alive?
Yeah.
Oh, he is. Okay. Interesting.
I
Is he
think
really?
I think he's living in Montgomery.
Is he really related to Tommy?
Yes, they're cousins.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, they are
Yeah.
shoot related. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Ibsen says HBK and Marty did a steel cage match. The Steiner Brothers Money Inc. had a good one listed on the WWE magazine. It's one of the greatest cage matches ever. Yeah, HBK and Marty Jannetty definitely had a good one. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, well, good for them.
Barbara says I don't like seeing women get bloody or get thrown into thumbtacks, which they did there too. I don't know if it was glass or thumbtacks a part of that match, but it
Ooh,
was kind of got a little. I don't know, it got a little too cringy there for me. It got a
yeah.
little too extreme, if you will.
When was this?
Sunday it was at the Revolution pay per view on Sunday.
Oh,
They did
okay.
a good crowd though. There was over 10,000 people at their pay per view in Los Angeles. So good job by AEW on the house.
Good deal.
Mitch said, "Haha, sorry, not sorry," for his period joke there.
Well, I didn't see any periods. I saw a comma.
Nice. Hannibal, I saw a great Piper style promo from Dr. Tom at a studio show in Wichita. Why didn't he do those more? It was great. Do you remember that?
I do, but I was ripping Piper off, and I told him that too. I didn't mean to rip him off, but if I was going to steal, I was going to steal from the best. And I just did that because that's how I was feeling that day. And a couple other days when I did promos like that, that's just kind of how I was feeling. And I'm going to steal from anybody. I'd prefer to be from Roddy Piper.
Speaking of Piper, Phil says saw Piper versus Flair in the Blue Shark Cage in Worcester, Mass. Early '90s, two great performers. I heard that they had great matches on the loop there. I've seen some, but I've heard great things about Flair and Piper in WWF in the early '90s.
Well, I don't know.
Ibsen's throwing this out there in 1992. IC champ Piper versus the world champ Flair, February of '92. Throwing that out there for you. Would you be interested in reffing a steel cage match, especially if it was at your school? Would you do it, or would you step in as a ref?
Well, sure I would.
Nice. Mitch says, by the way, the women's match, Taipei glass death match, glass and glue taped on your fist. The old Ian Rotten, Axel Rotten Taipei death match there. Little tribute there to those crazy death matches in Japan. Yeah, that's for the women's wrestling. I don't know. It's
Yeah, a
kind of
little
like
much.
pushing it. Yeah, it's pushing it a little too far for my liking. But on that note, let's wrap it up, Dr. Tom, and head towards the plugs. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Two Man Power Trip. Follow Dr. Tom at Dr. Tom Prichard. What else you got going on in this crazy world?
Well, if you want to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me by going to JP Wrestling Academy at gmail.com. And you can go to our website, jpwrestlingacademy.com, and find out anything you want to do. If you want to learn how to wrestle, learn how to run your own wrestling school or drills, you can get my book. Just click the training tab at the top of the page, and it'll tell you how to order the book.
Look at this. And it says Barbara wants an autographed copy.
Well, then you can email me at jpwrestlingacademy at gmail.com and tell me that you want an autographed copy and tell me where to send it.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Matty R., Barbara, Ibsen, Mitch, Magazine, ATF, Jason, and everybody else out there. Thank you to Dr. Tom. Thank you, everybody out there for listening. See you right back here. And next time for a little Take You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. We'll see you next week, folks.